Good morning, brothers and sisters. I'm Reverend Anna Segan, and it is a joy to be with you this morning to read from the Revised Common Lectionary, Year B, for November 6th. Our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth. Psalm 124, verse 8. Give thanks to the Lord who is good, who alone does great wonders, who made the sun to rule the day. God's steadfast love endures forever. Psalm 136, verses 4 and 8. Praise the Lord's name be praised. Our first reading today comes from Psalm 37. Hear the word of the Lord. Do not fret because of the wicked, and do not be envious of wrongdoers, for they will soon fade like the grass and wither like the green herb. Trust in the Lord and do good, so you will live in the land and enjoy security. Take delight in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in Him, and He will act. He will make your vindication shine like the light, and the justice of your cause like the noonday. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. Do not fret over those who prosper in their way, over those who carry out evil devices. Refrain from anger and forsake wrath. Do not fret, it leads only to evil. For the wicked shall be cut off, but those who wait on the Lord shall inherit the land. Yet a little while, and the wicked will be no more. Though you look diligently for their place, they will not be there. But the meek shall inherit the land, and delight themselves in abundant prosperity. The wicked plot against the righteous and gnash their teeth at them, but the Lord laughs at the wicked, for He sees that their day is coming. The wicked draw a sword and bend their bows to bring down the poor and needy, to kill those who walk uprightly. Their sword shall enter their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. Better is a little that the righteous person has than the abundance of many wicked. For the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but the Lord upholds the righteous. The Lord knows the days of the blameless, and their heritage will abide forever. They are not put to shame in evil times. In the days of famine they have abundance. But the wicked perish, and the enemies of the Lord are like the glory of the pastures. They vanish. Like smoke they vanish away. The wicked borrow and do not pay back, but the righteous are generous and keep giving. For those blessed by the Lord shall inherit the land, but those cursed by Him shall be cut off. Our steps are made firm by the Lord when He delights in our way. Though we stumble, we shall not fall headlong, for the Lord holds us by the hand. I have been young, now I am old. Yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, or their children begging bread. They are ever giving liberally and lending, and their children become a blessing. Depart from evil and do good, so you shall abide forever. Mouths of the righteous utter wisdom, and their tongues speak justice. The law of their God is in their hearts, and their steps do not slip. The wicked watch for the righteous and seek to kill them. The Lord will not abandon them to their power, nor let them be condemned when they are brought to trial. Wait for the Lord, and keep to His way, and He will exalt you to inherit the land. And you will look on the destruction of the wicked. I have seen the wicked oppressing and towering like a cedar of Lebanon. Again I passed by, and they were no more. Though I sought them, they could not be found. Mark the blameless, and behold the upright, for there is posterity for the peaceable. But transgressors shall be altogether destroyed. The posterity of the wicked shall be cut off. The salvation of the righteous is from the Lord. He is their refuge in time of trouble. The Lord helps them and rescues them. He rescues them from the wicked and saves them because they take refuge in Him. Our Older Testament reading for today is from Ezra, chapter 9, verses 1 through 15. After these things had been done, the officials approached me and said, "The peoples of Israel, the priests and the Levites, have not separated themselves from the peoples of the lands with their abominations, from the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, and the Amorites. For they have taken some of their daughters as wives for themselves and for their sons. Thus the holy seed has mixed itself with the peoples of the lands, and in this faithlessness, the officials and leaders have led the way. When I heard this, I tore my garment and my mantle, and pulled hair from my head and beard, and sat appalled. Then all who trembled at the words of the God of Israel, because of the faithlessness of the returned exiles, gathered around me while I sat appalled until the evening sacrifice. At the evening sacrifice I got up from my fasting, with my garments and my mantle torn, and fell on my knees, spread out my hands before the Lord my God, and said, "O my God, I am too ashamed and embarrassed to lift my face to you, my God, for our iniquities have risen higher than our heads, and our guilt has mounted up to the heavens. From the days of our ancestors to this day we have been in deep guilt, and for our iniquities we, our kings and our priests, have been handed over to the kings of the lands, to the sword, to captivity, to plundering, and to utter shame, as is now the case. But now for a brief moment, favor has been shown by the Lord our God, who has left us a remnant and given us a stake in his holy place, in order that he may brighten our eyes and grant us a little sustenance in our slavery. For we are slaves. Yet our God has not forsaken us in our slavery, but has extended to us his steadfast love before the kings of Persia, to give us a new life, to set up the house for our God, to repair its ruins, and to give us a wall in Judea and Jerusalem. Now, our God, what shall we say after this? For we have forsaken your commandments, which you commanded by your servants the prophets, saying, the land that you are entering to possess is a land unclean with the pollutions of their peoples of the lands, with their abominations. They have filled it from end to end with their uncleanness. Therefore do not give your daughters to their sons, neither take their daughters for your sons, and never seek their peace and prosperity, so that you may be strong and eat the good that the land and leave it for the inheritance to your children forever. After all that has come upon us for our evil deeds and for our great guilt, seeing that you, our God, have punished us less than our iniquities deserved, and have given us such a remnant as this, shall we break your commandments again, and intermarry with the peoples who practice these abominations? Would you not be angry with us until you destroy us without remnant or survivor? Lord God of Israel, you are just, but we have escaped as a remnant, and as is now the case, here we are before you in our guilt, though no one can face you because of this. Our second Old Testament reading today comes from Ezra chapter 6, verses 1 through 22. Then King Darius made a decree, and they searched the archives where the documents were stored in Babylon. But it was in Ecbatana, the capital of the province of Media, that the scroll was found in which this is written. A record. In the first year of his reign, King Cyrus issued a decree. Concerning the house of God at Jerusalem, let the house be rebuilt, and the place where sacrifices are offered and burnt offerings are brought. Its height shall be 60 cubits, and its width 60 cubits, with 3 courses of hewn stone and 1 course of timber. Let the cost be paid from the royal treasury. Moreover, let the gold and silver vessels of the house of God, which Nebuchadnezzar took out of the temple in Jerusalem and brought to Babylon, be restored and brought back to the temple in Jerusalem, each to its place. You shall put them in the house of God. Now you, Tatnai, governor of the province beyond the river, Shethar-bozenai, you and their associates, the envoys in the province beyond the river, keep away. Let the work in the house of God alone. Let the governor of the Jews and the elders of the Jews rebuild this house of God on its site. Moreover, I make a decree regarding what you shall do for these elders of the Jews for the rebuilding of this house of God. The cost is to be paid to these people in full and without delay from the royal revenue, the tribute of the province beyond the river. Whatever is needed, young bulls, rams, or sheep for burnt offerings to the God of heaven, wheat, salt, wine, or oil as the priests in Jerusalem require. Let that be given to them day by day without fail, so that they may offer pleasing sacrifices to the God of heaven and pray for the life of the king and his children. Furthermore, I decree that if anyone alters this edict, a beam shall be pulled out of the house of the perpetrator, who then shall be impaled on it. The house shall be made a dunghill. May the God who established his name there overthrow any king or people that shall put forth a hand to alter this or to destroy the house of God in Jerusalem. I, Darius, make a decree. Let it be done with all diligence. Then, according to the word sent by King Darius, Tatnai, the governor of the province beyond the river, Shethar-bozenai and their associates did with all diligence what King Darius had ordered. So the elders of the Jews built and prospered through the prophesying of the prophet Haggai and Zechariah son of Iddo. They finished their building by command of the God of Israel and by decree of Cyrus, Darius, and King Artaxerxes of Persia. And this house was finished on the 3rd day of the month of Adar, in the 6th year of the reign of King Darius. The people of Israel, the priests, the Levites, and the rest of the returned exiles celebrated the dedication of this house of God with joy. They offered at the dedication of this house of God 100 bulls, 200 rams, 400 lambs, and as a sin offering for all Israel, 12 male goats according to the number of the tribes of Israel. Then they set the priests in their divisions of the Levites in their courses for the service of God at Jerusalem, as it is written in the book of Moses. On the 14th day of the 1st month, the returned exiles kept the Passover. For both the priests and the Levites had purified themselves. All of them were clean. So they killed the Passover lamb for all the returned exiles, for their fellow priests and for themselves. It was eaten by the people of Israel who had returned from exile, and also by those who had joined them and separated themselves from the pollutions of the nations of the land and to worship the Lord, the God of Israel. With joy they celebrated the festival of unleavened bread 7 days, for the Lord made them joyful, and had turned the heart of the king of Assyria to them so that he aided them in the work of the house of God, the God of Israel. Our Newer Testament reading for today comes from Revelation chapter 17, verses 1 through 14. The Apostle John speaks. Then one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and said to me, "Come, and I will show you the judgment of the great whore who is seated on the many waters, with whom the kings of earth have committed fornication, and with the wine of whose fornication the inhabitants of the earth have become drunk." So he carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names, and it had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was clothed in purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and jewels and pearls, holding in her hand a golden cup full of abominations, and the impurities of her fornication. And on her forehead was written a name, a mystery, Babylon the Great, mother of the whores, and of earth's abominations. And I saw that the woman was drunk with the blood of the saints and the blood of the witnesses of Jesus. When I saw her, I was greatly amazed. But the angel said to me, "Why are you so amazed? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast with the 7 heads and 10 horns that carries her. The beast that you saw was and is not, and is about to ascend from the bottomless pit and go to destruction. And the inhabitants of the earth, whose names have not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, will be amazed when they see the beast, because it was and is not, and is to come. This calls for a mind that has wisdom. The 7 heads are the 7 mountains on which the woman is seated. Also they are 7 kings, of whom 5 have fallen. 1 is living, and the other has not yet come. And when he comes, he must remain only for a little while. As for the beast that was and is not, it is an 8th, but it belongs to the 7, and it goes to destruction. And the 10 horns that you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom, but they are to receive authority as kings for 1 hour together with the beast. These are united in yielding their power and authority to the beast. They will make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb will conquer them, for he is the Lord of lords and the King of kings, and those with him are called the chosen and faithful. Our gospel reading for today comes from Matthew 14, verses 22 through 36. Immediately he, that is Jesus, made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead to the other side while he dismissed the crowds. And after he had dismissed the crowds, he went up to the mountain by himself to pray. When the evening came, he was there alone. But by this time the boat, battered by the waves, was far away from the land, and the wind was against them. Early in the morning he came walking towards them on the lake. But when the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified, saying, "It's a ghost!" And they cried out in fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them and said, "Take heart, it is I, do not be afraid." Peter answered him, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." And he said, "Come." So Peter got out of the boat, started walking on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he noticed the strong wind, he became frightened. Beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Jesus immediately reached out his hand and caught him, saying to him, "You have little faith. Why did you doubt?" When they got into the boat, the wind ceased, and those in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." When they had crossed over, they came to the land at Gennesaret. After the people of that place recognized him, they sent word throughout the region and brought all who were sick to him and begged him that he might touch even the fringe of his cloak. And all who touched it were healed. This is the word of the Lord. If you have enjoyed today's readings, I encourage you to like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you back here tomorrow. God bless.